Alright, this week on Garage Talks, we'll be talking about installing your 3-inch body lift. As far as I'm concerned, the only company that makes a 3-inch body lift for the 4th gen Ram is Performance Accessories. Now you can get a 1/2 inch and a 3-inch. I personally recommend going with the 3-inch. You know, if you're gonna do it, you might as well put the time into it and get something you're gonna be happy with. Now, I guess you can go 1.5 inches if you just want a little bit more clearance, but is what it is. So stay tuned. This is Garage Talks with 5.7 Lifestyle. Alright, so I just finished editing the video and I forgot to mention an important part about the install. The steel pucks or steel blocks that come to go in between the frame and the box, I did not install those. I've had dirt bikes, I've had mulch, I've had lots of other stuff in my box in my truck. I've had no issues with it. I did not install the steel blocks. Now, if you feel you need them, go ahead and put them in. I didn't put them in. I know a few other people that didn't, and they've had no issues. So, that's why it's so easy. You know, some people shy away from it because they feel they need a welder. I didn't install them. So, it's up to you. I think they're optional. I haven't had any issues. My box just as sturdy as before. So, enjoy this video. I just forgot to throw that in there. Thanks. Now, when talking body lifts, I would consider it one of the easiest mods you can do. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's pretty straightforward. So, first of all, you're going to get your kit, order it online. If you're in Canada, I recommend T-Dot Performance. They free shipping all across Canada, and it's about $600. If you're in the States, just buy it straight from Performance Accessories. It's probably the easiest bet. Like I said, you get it, it comes in a box. It's about, I don't know, that big, but that big. And it comes with rubber pucks, new bolts to mount the body to the frame, steering extension, bumper brackets, and aluminum pieces to put underneath the box. Another thing I recommend when you're ordering your body lift is you can get these rubber pieces and they go in your front wheel wells to cover the gap. So when you put the body lift in, the back is fine because the inner fenders go low enough. The front, you lift it up and you start seeing your suspension components. Well, you put these rubber flaps in and they keep the dirt and grime from going in your engine bay. I think they're an extra $50, but they are well worth it. And I've put mine on, they've lasted the winter, they're doing fine, and they're doing their job. Now, throughout the video, as I talk about it, I'm going to be throwing some pictures up, probably in this corner here, just to show you some examples, because my dad has a Ram and I have a Ram, and I just want to show you the difference between having a body lift in and not. So let's get started. You've got your kit, you're in your driveway, you're in your garage. Now, one thing to remember is don't do your body lift in your garage if you don't have 3 inches or more clearance. You don't want to get your body lift in and realize you can't back your truck out of your garage, because then you're taking the tires off or letting the air out and it becomes a hassle. So, let's say you're in an ideal place for the install. First thing you want to do is remove the front and back bumper. If you haven't removed a bumper before, it's basically 3 bolts on either side, and one has like a pin that comes out, and that's just to help line it up. So undo those. If you have fog lights, be sure to disconnect your fog lights and remove it. That's for the front bumper. Now for the back bumper, you want to go ahead and disconnect your trailer wiring harness. It just twists and pulls out. Your 2 plate lights, again, twist and remove them, and they'll hang there for you. Remove your back plate, because there is bolts you have to access behind it. And underneath of the corners, there's more bolts. So, once you get your front bumper off and your back bumper off, just set them off to the side. You don't have to worry about them until the end of the install. Next, you want to go underneath to your emergency brake cable. You're going to take your wrench, loosen the emergency brake cable off, and you can literally just unhook it and let it hang there. Once you got your emergency brake cable hanging there, go ahead and under the driver's side, behind the driver's side front tire, look up underneath the cab. Now I'm going to show it in the video here. It's in front of the cab mount, and you'll see your wiring harness going up. And there's one clip and or zip tie that holds it to the frame. Go ahead and break that clip off so the wiring harness is loose. Now it'll look like it has a lot of play in it where it is. It's just going to hang there for now. Finally, you want to go underneath the front of your truck. Preferably if you jack it up, it's a little easier. but you will have your bumper off, so it's pretty easy to access. And you find your steering linkages. Now there's 2 points where you can undo it. I recommend undoing it at the lowest point. That's just, they don't tell you where to put it. That's just where I recommend installing it. And all you do is you remove the nut, pull the bolt out, and it'll slide off when you lift the truck up. So now you're gonna go ahead. You're ready for all your preparation is done. You're ready to install your body lift. So what you wanna do is you're gonna go ahead, and on the driver's side of the cab, there are 4 cab mounts. One up at the front, it'll be easy to get at because you have the bumper off. Then you have one right behind the driver's side tire, and 2 more behind it. Go ahead and loosen those off, but do not completely remove them. Leave them in about, I don't know, about an inch. They're pretty long bolts. Maybe half an inch if you want. All right, next we're gonna head over to the passenger side, and we're gonna completely remove the same 4 cab mounts, but on the passenger side. Once they're removed, take your jack, slide it underneath. I used a 6x6, you can use a 2x4, you can use whatever you want. But put it under the pinch weld, the piece of wood between the pinch weld and your jack, and slowly start to raise the passenger side of the cab. Once you get it up high enough, insert your 6 pucks on top of the body. Once you get your 6 pucks installed, start your new bolts. So in your kit you'll have longer bolts for once the pucks are in. Now these pucks are 3 inches in length, they're hard plastic, they're black, and they already have the hole through the center. So once you get them in place, start threading the bolts. You'll only be able to go a little ways because it's going to be on a bit of an angle, because the driver's side is still attached. So go ahead and get those started. Now, once your cab mounts on the passenger side are started, head back over to the driver's side and remove all 4 cab mounts. So now the cab's being held on by the passenger side. It's not going to go anywhere. Once the 4 cab mounts are out, the bolts, place your same block of wood on the pinch weld and jack up the driver's side. This time, on the passenger side you jacked it up about 4 inches so you could get the new pucks in. The driver's side, this is where people have the most problem. Jack the truck up 6 to 7 inches. Now what this will allow you to do is you can put your steering extension in without any problems. If you only go up 3 inches, you will not get the steering extension in the front. So go up 6 to 7 inches, it's gonna look like it's way up there, it's fine. Install your steering linkage, put the 4 pucks in on the driver's side, let the cab back down to sit on the pucks, start your bolts, tighten up your steering linkage, do not forget to do that because that's kind of important. And snug up your cab mounts just a little bit. You don't want them too tight because you might have to push it around once you get the box up to make sure everything lines up. So at this stage, we have the steering linkage done, the cab's been lifted, and the bolts are started. Now we're going to get to the box. If you have a long box, you will have 8 bolts. If you have a short box, you'll have 6. Same thing, except this time it doesn't matter what side you do first. So you can drop the driver's side bolts all out, loosen off the driver's side bolts, drop the passenger side bolts right out, raise the passenger side, put your 3 pucks in, start the bolts, head back over to the driver's side, do the same thing. Remove the old bolts, jack it up, put the new pucks in, and start the new bolts. Take a look at the truck, make sure everything's lined up. You know, make sure the body lines are where they're supposed to be, the same distance on either side between the cab and the box, and you know, just square it up. Take your time because you don't want to have to undo it after. Now if it's a little bit off, just give it a little shove over, it'll move for you. So let's say everything's lined up now. You're happy with it, it looks good. I tighten my bolts up same way I tighten tires. So start at one corner, head to the other corner, and I just keep crisscrossing until I'm in the middle. So snug them up, and then really tighten them down. So I did the cab first, then I did the box. And that's the main part of the whole body lift. Now your cab and box are up in the air 3 inches. Next, you gotta take care of the bumpers. So I did the rear bumper first. Take your new brackets, mount them to the old bracket holes. I did forget one. At the back of the box, in the middle, if you have a hitch, there's a piece that mounts between the bumper and the hitch, or somewhere in that area you will see it. Next, you mount your new brackets on the existing brackets at the rear. You'll take your grinder, and on the bottom side of your bumper, in between the step, you'll grind the piece out. It gives you a template, it shows you how to do it. But, so if this is the front of your bumper, you stand on the top part here, and this is the underside, you're gonna be grinding a little square out underneath where the step is. And that just allows the support plate to be installed underneath it. And that's it for the back bumper. Plug your trailer lights back in, they'll reach. Put your your plate lights back in, they'll reach. No wire extending in this process. Super simple. Next, the front bumper. Now this one I had a bit of a pain with, but I was doing it by myself and I didn't have the little clamps on my bolts on my bumper that it came with to hold them in place. So this part you're gonna want two people because that bumper's heavy when you're trying to hold it up and tighten it at the same time. So take your new brackets again, mount them on the existing brackets, and this time where your bumper mounts, so if you look at the bumper and look at the mounts on the back of it, it'll have 4 holes and it'll be like a square steel bracket. Well, at the bottom, you're gonna cut the metal out of this square bracket. And that just allows the new plate to sit in there. So again, on the bumper, each side has a square bracket with 4 holes in it, and you're just gonna cut the middle out of the bumper. You'll figure it out really easy what needs to be cut because you'll put it up and that'll hold the bumper out at the bottom. Once that's done, get the bumper in place, tighten up the 3 bolts each side, reconnect your fog lights if you have them, reconnect your e-brake, and it's just reverse process. Hook it on, tighten up the nut, and it'll come tight again. Really simple. And that's it for your body lift. It took me 4 hours, I did it by myself. It would have took me about 2.5 to 3 hours if I hadn't known about the front bumper and needing someone to help me put it on. So, just a quick recap. You want to disconnect your steering linkage before you start. Disconnect your e-brake. Remove your trailer light harness just by twisting and removing. Your plate light harness, plate lights, just same thing, twist and drop. Front and back bumper. Then you're gonna loosen the driver's side of the cab. Remove the passenger side of the cab, jack the cab up, put the pucks in, start the bolts. Jack the driver's side of the cab up 7 inches, insert the steering linkage. Let it back down onto the 4 pucks, get them started, tighten up the steering linkage. Snug up the cab, move back to the box, same thing, loosen the driver's side, remove the passenger side, jack it up, put the pucks in, start the bolts. Back to the driver's side, remove the old bolts, jack it up with the pucks in, start the new bolts. Tighten everything down, the new brackets on the rear of the bumper, grind the little part off the bottom of the bumper, just use a cutting disc, takes like, I don't know, 20 seconds. Install the rear bumper, rehook up the trailer lights and the plate lights just by twisting them back into place. Front bumper, same thing. Put the new brackets on the old brackets, cut a little bit off the existing mounting plates of the bumper, reinstall with the 3 bolts, hook up your e-brake, and you're done. There is no extending wires in this process. I don't know if maybe in the old trucks you had to. No, this one you don't. No extending wires. I didn't have any problem with fitment or alignment. And I don't know, it's one of my favorite mods. If I were to buy a new truck, I'd put a body lift in the next day. Simple, easy to do, doesn't change anything that's not OEM. So, I don't know where the pictures are going to be. I took some short video. I'm going to try and stick them in this corner. If you have any questions or any more questions about the body lift, feel free to ask. Instagram, Facebook, the usual spots. Comment below if you have any questions. Comments are sometimes hard to get back to because I don't see them. The site I use doesn't always pop up new comments for some reason. Send me a message if you have any comments. Or if for some reason somebody asks a question down below and you have the answer, just give them a hand. Tell them what to do. That's pretty well it for this video. I hope it helps some of you. It seems like a scary mod if you haven't done it before, but honestly it's super easy. I'd recommend it if for somebody who's never done it before. I used all hand tools. I did it in my driveway. Like I said, it took me 3 to 4 hours. It's very limited tools, and if you have a buddy helping you, couple hours, grab a Pepsi and enjoy the afternoon. Thanks for watching this episode of Garage Talks with 5.7 Lifestyle. Be sure to get your banners. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. Be sure to slap that like button. Share this video with your friends, it really helps out the channel. That's it for today. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.